From our Archaeomega research group, it has never been possible to know with complete certainty what the possible ritual and symbolic relationship was between the Great Sphinx and the temple that lies at its feet, also called the Temple of the Sphinx, because that temple is not perfectly centered in front of the legs of the Sphinx. Well, because it was not in relation to her physically, but to something subtle that emanated from her, his shadow. The Great Sphinx was the guardian of the solar gates, the equinoctial and the solstitial gates, and like the kind of sundials carved into the limestone rock itself, mother like the Sphinx itself in this open temple, the Great Sphinx and those aligned pillars. They also symbolize the petrified rays of the sun uniting the earthly kingdom with the divine, and this was achieved symbolically with the sacred hierophany that occurred daily with the shadows of the Great Sphinx and those pillars of the temple, culminating in its maximum degree when it coincided with the astronomical events that produced the opening of those important for antiquity symbolic transition doors. At the equinoxes and solstices, thanks to these archaeoastronomical discoveries that we have made, it will even be possible to apply by the corresponding identification nomenclature to the final destinations of the hierophanies produced by the shadow of the head of the Great Sphinx at the entrance and the Great Stele in the form of a great inner door of the Temple of Amenhotep II, the winter solstice door. To the northeast door of the inner courtyard of the Temple of the Sphinx, the door of the equinoxes, and to the southeast door of the inner courtyard, the summer solar door, through which the shadows of the head of the Sphinx were introduced into those sacred astronomical events, like the daytime hours, were marked by the shadows of the pillars of the temple. And its extraordinary lattice that configured that sacred solar and seasonal clock, the premeditated slenderness of the neck and head of the Sphinx was so that the projection of its shadow was linear. Also, the floor of the temple was excavated 4 mi lower than the ground where the legs and base of the Great Sphinx are, also based on a deeper and more extensive shadow of the Sphinx, the total height. From the floor of the temple to the top of the head of the Great Sphinx, it is practically the height of the tallest obelisk raised, ancient Egypt, about 24 meters temple floor, which was originally tiled in white to the vast so that it was marked with better contrast in the shadows, those of the Sphinx and those of the temple pillars.